That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
There can't be two Spider-Men.
Hey guys, it's the Pink King here. Seeing as you guys loved the first Primeval video I made, I wanted to talk about it some more, with in particular something I've come to notice and have been wondering for a while now. What am I talking about? Well, while rewatching Primeval for that video, I couldn't help but remember something I thought a while ago, specifically in regards to the future Predator and another bloodthirsty creature from sci-fi, the Death Angels from A Quiet Place. Now, if you're a fan of Primeval, then you've definitely noticed this similarity between these two iconic monsters, not only in design but functionality, with both monsters possessing a
very particular set of skills
that are almost identical to one another. Now, is this a case of John Krasinski looking at something from a dead series and stealing it and passing it off as his own with only a few changes plus a Demogorgon face? No. In my opinion, I doubt this is a case of plagiarism, but more of inspiration taken and bringing a new spin on it. As, after all, the idea of a futuristic bat creature that uses sound has existed long before A Quiet Place and Primeval, with Afterman being the earliest example I could find of something like this. So if it's not plagiarism, then why am I talking about this? Well, seeing as A Quiet Place Day 1 just released, and it's a fantastic film, I must say, I thought it'd be quite fun to take a look at both franchises here, and compare the two, to see which series did the sound-hearing monster better. But first, let's establish the rules. Effects and budgets won't play a factor here, because it's hard to compare a $1 million movie series to a British TV show in the late 2000s. However, what will be counted is how both monsters are written and how effective both are used. So let's get into it. I'm the Pink King, and this is Primeval vs. A Quiet Place. First, let's talk about how creative both franchises are with their monsters. Now, A Quiet Place should have the advantage in this area, as not only did they have a lot of reference to go off, but they also had only one monster, where Primeval has several. However, in terms of creativity, let's start with designs. Both creature designs, despite being similar, have very different origins to them, with the future Predator being a speculative evolution of a bat, and the Death Angels being aliens that landed on Earth from an asteroid. The future Predator, although doesn't look like a bat very much, does have the characteristics that clue the audience in that it's related, with the very distinctive face and the sounds it makes. The future Predator's design is ugly, but it does play part of the futuristic killing machine quite well, as I feel it strikes the right balance of realistic and terrifying, as it looks something that could actually exist and not going over the top. And then you have what they do with it, and in the show we see the Predator do a lot more than just kill. We see it defend its young, we see where they come from and what their home looks like, we see how these creatures can be manipulated by man, what natural predators they might have, and see how this creature hunts with its vision being akin to another predator from, well, the Predator. But the Death Angels don't really get to this level of interesting stuff to do. We only see them hunting or killing. We don't get any insight into what they do when nobody's around. We get a peek in day 1 with them eating and sleeping, but it's so brief it feels out of place, and so feels more like a slasher villains rather than a new species of animal. I like their design, but again it feels a little dull, as it looks like it's trying a bit too hard with the scary teeth and the large fangs with the cracked face, but ultimately beyond that doesn't do anything we haven't seen before. So I think it's fair to say that this round goes to Primeval. Now this is a very interesting segment, as both monsters ultimately need to scare their audience in order to be effective. In terms of the future Predator, its first episode has a very effective build-up, with it lurking in the shadows and killing effortlessly. However, by the end, is killed by glass and is squished to death. Season 2, however, brought them back and made them scary again. However, the more the series goes on, the tension around them starts to fade a bit. The characters start to escape them in ways that are very forced and rather convenient, and by Season 5, they're no longer really intimidating but rather feel like pests than threats. However, in terms of Death Angels, what they lack in creativity they more than make up for in effectiveness. They are used very smartly here, as they really focus on how quick and effortlessly they can kill someone, alongside the measures characters go to avoid them entirely. It really works to make them threatening to the point that I feel like I need to be quiet while watching these movies because it's just that effective. And surprisingly, the way they were able to startle me a few times on repeated viewings, the way they're able to make people completely powerless by their presence alone, alongside their music, is the stuff of nightmares, and it's just really effective. But the only issue is their shortcomings. Them not being able to swim and being completely harmless if you're under a moving body of water sort of dampens the terror that they give. It's like a game where there's safe zones, where you're completely safe from everything around you. It ruins a little bit of the suspense and fear factor, as the characters could just go to a body of water and they'd be perfectly fine. But despite all that, this round definitely goes to A Quiet Place, as it has the much stronger horror. This is the most interesting one, as ultimately it's the impact both monsters leave on you that determine which one was better, and which one stays in your head the longest. This was very tricky to determine, as both monsters fit in that category very well. But if I had to pick, I think I would go for the Future Predator. Don't get me wrong, the Death Angels are terrifying, but that's really all they do. They only really get scares and nothing more. Their origin is far too vague to make me want to know more about them. Alongside the fact that we only see them in attack mode, there's not a lot here to remember beyond the scares. It's not like villains like Michael Myers, who are very similar, because they give us clues into their backstory that make us want to know more about them. But here, they don't do that. But with the Future Predator, sure, they may slip in terms of horror a bit, but they're always a big deal. They always keep gradually expanding on them, while leaving enough to the imagination that you can't just help but think about them. They stand out among other creatures in the show and in pop culture, with them playing with the concept in ways that stick with you. So for me, I have to pick the Future Predator here, as not only are they a stronger creature overall, but ultimately they're able to stick with me longer than the Death Angels do. So, this point ultimately has to go to Primeval. And there you have it, peeps. Primeval beats A Quiet Place and ultimately has the superior monster. But what do you guys think? What monster from either franchise do you prefer and why? Remember, this is just my opinion and not me talking about the quality of the film, but more so the quality of the monsters. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this, as this is a topic that not many people are talking about. And while you're at it, subscribe right now. My goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and with your help, I can definitely achieve that. So if you want more videos just like this, then subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and with that, I will see you all next time.